Hello and welcome to the Crafty Diamond. I am Debbie. I am going to be working on this gorgeous diamond painting today with you guys, chatting a little bit and just telling you what happened over the week, as well as some of my diamond painting goals and what I've accomplished and what I plan on doing for the remainder of the week. But first of all, I am so excited to share this with you. I am almost finished with my carousel pony. I wanted you to see how gorgeous that she is. And I have these two sections left, which I plan on getting these finished today, not necessarily during this WIP and chat, but by the end of the day today. So this will be done. I will show this on my month in review in full. And then also I will have a completion posting on this, and that will be in the next couple of weeks. But look how pretty. I love the shine. This is from Bella Art Diamonds. I guess I should have mentioned that first. And it's from Nicolet's Art. And it is a 50 by 62. It's a lot of pink. And I love pink. I cannot wait to have this one framed. I am going to frame it and put it in my craft room. My craft room is pink, and this is going to be an absolute perfect addition to my walls. But that is just so gorgeous. I love how the face has turned out. And so we're going to work on this section together today. So if you would like to get something out, feel free to get out your WIP or your work in progress, or you can treat this like you would a typical podcast, and let's get started. Starting on this section here, I won't get all of this finished before the end of this WIP and chat, but I will have quite a bit done. And I'm hoping to get this finished either today or tomorrow. It will definitely be finished before the end of this month, which I'm really excited about. I did just change out my glue dot, and it is not playing very nice. Does not want to let go of my drills, but once it gets a little dirty, it will be fine, I hope. I'm just having to kind of help it a little bit along the way, use my fingernail and push it down. And then this section over here is a little sticky too because, I haven't laid any drills down, but we'll get through it together. So how is everybody doing? How was your week? Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope that it was a nice, relaxing weekend. But let me know how you guys are, if you did anything fun, or if you were like us and you just did things around the house. We've gotten to where we're trying to get as much as we can done during the week, and then that way on the weekends we have more time to do other things. And so that's kind of what I did. I did a few things around the house, kind of straightened up a little bit, but I'd already cleaned the house for the most part during the week whenever I got off work. And then Paige also helps. I do have to often go back behind her and just do a little bit of a cleanup from her. She does a fairly good job, but sometimes she just needs a little bit more of a push of, that she needs to go back and look at something that she didn't quite clean, or she needs to go back and redo it again. And then sometimes she does a great job. But kind of did a little bit of that on Saturday, then had to run a couple of errands. Paige absolutely loves to read, and I am so glad, because there was a point when she was younger that I wasn't sure if she would ever learn how to read or even know her colors. And then all of a sudden, she just took off and she just reads. She is a very fast reader too, and she does remember what she's reading. And she's been asking me for about a week or so if we could go to the bookstore, and she wanted to use some of her work money and to get her some books. And so I told her that, we would go on Saturday and that we would go, early enough to where we might be able to beat the crowd some. And she had a gift certificate that she had gotten when we went to Night to Shine, which is a prom for special needs. And they gave gift cards for Chick-fil-A in their goodie bags. And so I told her, if you want Chick-fil-A, we can do that for lunch too. And then she said, well, I'll get your lunch. And I had no idea how much was on her gift card. I assumed, $5 to $10. And Chick-fil-A is very good to our special needs group that we're in. They're always donating for any events that we have. And so I thought, well, yeah, it's probably about $5, $10. And then I had also had a gift card from Chick-fil-A that we had gotten. And so I thought, I need to use that gift card. And I had no idea how much was on my gift card. So I told her, I said, yeah, we can do that. And then I asked my husband, I said, do you want anything from Chick-fil-A? And we normally don't get lunch out. And at first he didn't. And I said, well, we're going to come back. We're going to eat here. And then we're going to head off and go over to the bookstore. So he decided to go ahead and get him a sandwich. And so I just went to the drive-thru, picked it up, and she told me, she said, well, just use my gift card, see how much you can get off of it, and I'll treat for some of lunch. So I thought that was really sweet of her. And we ended up owing 8 cents. And so she thought that was just hilarious. And so paid my 8 cents for our full meal. And then got home, and so she was telling Dave, he met us, he was outside, and he helped us bring in the food. And so Paige said, well, she said, that just about broke me. I can't buy you guys lunch anymore. Can't help out with lunch. And he's like, well, I'll pay you. How much do I owe you? And she said, you owe me 8 cents. And she just started dying out laughing, and he thought that was really funny. But she really got a kick out of the fact that we only owed 8 cents for lunch. If you hear Molly, I am really sorry. I have her in her room right now with the door closed, and at first she was happy with it, and now not so much. She does not want to be in her room with the door closed. And I have her in there because she was crawling all over me when I first started to do this video. And I thought, well, I'll just put her in her room so she won't be crawling all over me and she'll be quiet. Usually she'll go in her crate and she'll calm down, but now not so much. And for those of you that are new, Molly is my 3-year-old collie. And she is very much a mama's girl. And she likes all the cuddles. She wants all the attention. And especially, it's really weird. Usually she doesn't do this at night. Usually it's during the day. In the mornings, she acts like she hasn't seen me in forever, because they do sleep in our basement. Both of our dogs are down in the basement at night. They have their own room. They have open crates. They don't even have to be in their crates, but they like their crates. I guess they feel safe in there. So you'll definitely hear her. She's very vocal. My other dog, not so much, but Molly is a very vocal pup. This glue dot is a little aggravating. It could be worse, so it's not horribly bad. I'm just trying to get these where they're halfway straight because these are squares. And squares, I just lost a little bit of the glue dot. Let's see, I think that's okay. And so squares do take me a little bit longer because I want to make sure that they are lined up properly. And I'm trying not to get my head in frame, and so trying to do all of that at one time is not the easiest. But we did go to the bookstore, and unfortunately, this is the second bookstore that we have gone to that has gotten rid of their little coffee cafe. And they had a Starbucks for years in this bookstore. And it was so popular that they actually rented a small space when it opened up next door to them. And they made that into their coffee area with some tables and some really nice cushions and chairs. But then we went on Saturday and they have closed it up. And I guess they're going to sell that little section. They have put paper up on the windows, so I don't know if they're going to just give that back to the landlord. Something else is going to go there, but it is a very small space, so I don't know what else could even go there unless they're renovating. I didn't ask, but I really was hoping that I could grab a book. And then while she was shopping, because when she goes and shops for books, she takes a while. And I was okay with that. I thought I'll just go ahead and get me a coffee. I will get me a book and I will just sit there and I will enjoy, an hour or so, let her roam around the bookstore. And I'll just be sitting here drinking my coffee and reading a book. So it sounded like, a perfect Saturday afternoon. We get there, and the first thing that Paige said was, "Mom, look, their coffee shop is no longer there." So I thought that's just wonderful. But I looked around for a while, did find a book, which I love to read, so it wasn't that hard to find. And then let her just shop around, and didn't take her as long as I thought that it would. And she had a huge stack of books, paperbacks. And so I told her, said, this is going to be quite a bit of money here. Are you sure this is what you want to spend your money on? And so she said, I love all of these. This is a series I've been looking at. And she bought almost the whole series. So, or the first, I guess, 4 books. And so I told her, I said, I hope you like this, because if not, you're going to have these books. But then when we were checking out, they said, no worries. If you read the first one and you don't like it, then you can bring the other ones back. And so she read the first one already, and she loved it. And she read it when she got home on Saturday. And she takes very good care of her books, which I am so glad that she takes such good care of her books. When she got home, she went and dusted her bookshelf, and she said now all of her books they're all on her bookshelf, and she said, I'm running out of space on my bookshelf. So now we got to figure out if we're going to buy her another bookshelf or what to put in what she likes to call her office, which she has a desk in there, and she has a reading chair and all of her books. So that's going to keep her busy. I don't know how many that she bought, but she did spend quite a bit. And the lady that was checking her out just kind of laughed when she saw all of them. And Paige told her, she said, I'm doing this with my own money. She was just so excited that she could use her own money to do this. And I think that has really helped her, working and taking responsibility. And she likes the fact that she is using her own money to buy things, because as many books as she bought on Saturday, if it were me buying those for her, I would have made her wait. I would not have bought as many books as she did. But look, with your money, you can do that. It's what she's been saving up for. She has been saving to go to the bookstore. So that was our Saturday. And then my husband asked if I wanted to go out to dinner. And we went and got barbecue. Paige doesn't really like it. And so she wanted to know if she could order dinner. So I told her that was fine. I said, I can bring you back something. You can wait that long. Or if you order, you're going to have to pay for the delivery. Because I'm trying to get her to know that you just can't order just to be ordering, because ordering on Uber or DoorDash or someplace like that, it costs more money. And she doesn't drive, so I thought, I will let her order because of that. Otherwise, I'd go pick it up. So she did order. She got her something. We got what we wanted. And then we had the little mini date night since she wasn't with us, which we don't get to do very often. And so that was nice too. It was just the two of us. I'm like, I don't even know what to think when it's just the two of us, because it's always the three of us. So that was a nice night. And then when we got home, my husband built a really nice fire. His fires are amazing. I mean, I just really enjoy my husband's fires. We have an oversized fireplace. It's not the insert, it's an actual fireplace. And we just really enjoy just sitting and watching a movie and just enjoying the fire. That's the only thing that I enjoy about the winter, is I love a good roaring fire. And then we watched a couple of movies, and we watched one, I forgot which one it was. It was okay. Then we watched another one, which was absolutely stupid. And I'm so glad that we should be seeing warmer weather here before too terribly long. And then we can start sitting outside, because I am over watching TV. We don't watch TV hardly at all in the late spring, summer, and then also up into about October, early fall. We don't watch hardly any TV. And then we start getting caught up on a few shows. But it's like by January, I am over watching TV. I am over watching movies on Netflix, on Hulu, and then others that we stream from. And he is too. We're ready to start going outside again, but it's still it's too cold. And I'm so cold-natured anyway, it will be at least April before I can get out there. But I am really starting to get spring fever. I am ready for the spring. I'm ready to start doing my spring cleaning. And I am I'm over the cold weather. I don't like wearing thick clothes, which I have to wear a lot of sweatshirts, sweaters, and hoodies in the winter. And so it is just time to start getting nice and wearing short sleeves again. Not having to go to bed with a sweatshirt on, then I'll wake up hot. So definitely I'm getting spring fever. We had such a nice day on actually Sunday. Sunday was nice, but it was really windy. So it wasn't really nice, I guess, because of the wind, but it was sunny. It was really nice with that. And then today, Monday, was nice. It was in the sun. It was just a glorious spring day. But then as soon as the sun started setting, it started getting really cold. And then Tuesday, it's supposed to be high in the low 50s. We're supposed to get more rain in on Wednesday. And we're now getting into our rainy season, like March, April, even part of May. It rains quite a bit. And then it starts getting hot. So you don't really get to enjoy spring that much. But I have allergies, and so does Paige. So I can't really get out in the spring that much anyway. Just for the fact that my allergies start to act up, start sneezing, all the fun stuff. But I am so ready to have some warmer weather. And we don't even really live in it gets cold. We were in the 30s this year, but we don't have just a horrid winter to where we have a lot of snow and ice. Thank goodness. But it's always windy and just cold. I am loving these colors. I'm excited to have a finish, but I'm kind of sad because this one has been so much fun to do. I think we have finally gotten all of Madison's medical bills, so that's been taken care of from when she had her surgery back in December. So hopefully we won't have to have any more emergencies, have to pay for any more medical bills for any of us. This is taking a little bit longer because of this glue dot, but that is okay. Let's see, what else happened? We did lose power at work right when I was in the middle of teaching, and we needed the computers. We have a computer lab in my classroom. We needed the computers, and so I thought, well, let's just wait a little bit. We do have backup generators at school, but that's only for emergency lighting for the halls. And then in the classroom, I do have a couple of windows in my classroom. And so I opened up the blinds, and luckily it was a halfway decent day. And so I told my students, we're just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. And I had to use the whiteboard, had to write on the whiteboard. And I don't know what it is about me, but I tend to slant when I write. And so I'm like, you're going to have to kind of move your head sideways, just tilt it so you can see. And it's because I don't know, I slant. And so they were all laughing. And it was hard to see the board, but it's kind of fun to get back to my roots where I had to use a whiteboard rather than using an overhead projector. So that was definitely different. And then on that same day, once we did get power, I thought, well, I'm going to run to the bookstore and I am going to get a flavored water because I did not have any in my office. I had just plain water and I wanted something else. I thought, well, I could go and get a Diet Dr. Pepper, and went to the bookstore. And this was an hour after the power came back on. The bookstore was closed. There wasn't a reason. There wasn't a note on the door. They were closed. It was completely dark in there. So I thought, well, that's just wonderful. So then I thought, okay, fine. I will go to I'll go over on that day. They have food trucks that come in. We have 2 food trucks that come in. And I went to the food truck, and food trucks weren't there. So I'm like, okay, this day is not going the way that I had planned. So no food trucks. We don't have a cafe or anything on the campus that I am on, which I think they could make quite a bit of money if they would open up some type of a snack area or a little cafe. They have one on our main campus, and it does quite well, but not on this one. So then I was starving. I thought, okay, I did not bring my lunch for the reason that I wanted to try out this new food truck that I haven't tried out before. So I ended up that I'm just going to leave and go get something to eat, go back to work, and then I left. I went and I did get lunch. It wasn't very good. I thought, this day definitely isn't going the way that I want it to. And then I ended up leaving work early because then our heat went out at work. So I thought, nope, somebody's trying to tell me I do not need to be at work today. So I left work a little early, came home and worked. And I was able to get something done and didn't have to worry about freezing to death because I had heat. And then also this past week, I don't know if you have AT&T or not, but my oldest, Maddie, sent me a message on Facebook, and that I do have Facebook on my phone. And so I was already in class, and I glanced at my phone, and it was from her on Facebook. And I thought, well, this is really strange. So she sent me a message, and she said, something is wrong with my phone. I'm going to have to call Dad and see if he can't find out if there's, what's going on or what I need to do with my phone. And she said she could not use it at all. She couldn't dial out. It was nothing. She could not use her internet. She couldn't message. And she said, if you need me, just get in touch with me here, or you can call me at work. And she has a direct line at work. And so I thought, well, that's odd. And then I heard students talking because they like to use their phones in class. A lot of times they'll use it to take notes, or I allow them to take screenshots of my slides or different things that they might need. And so they were doing that, and they were trying to also, on their photos, they were trying to send it to their computer, so they would be off their computer, it would be on their phone and underneath their classroom where they can put notes, and they couldn't do it. And they're like, is the internet at school down? So then I checked on that. I'm like, nope, the internet's still up, it's all good. And then come to find out, it was AT&T. So I'm sure that a lot of you had the same problems. And AT&T never said what the problem was, but it was like all over. It wasn't just in our area because she's in South Dakota. We had some friends that live in Iowa, and so they were saying that they couldn't use their phone either. And then it hit me. It's like, okay, Paige is at home by herself today. She probably doesn't even know that the phones are not working. And if she needs to get in touch with me, she can't. Because we do not have a house phone. I don't even know anybody that has a house phone anymore, to be honest. But that got me thinking, well, now, if something happens, what are we going to do? Because we've always relied on the phones, and Paige can't get in touch with me. I can't get in touch with my husband or my oldest. And so what do we do in case of an emergency? So that was a conversation that we had at dinner that night. And so I told my husband, I'm like, we need to think about this because when the kids were younger, we actually had a plan. Daycare had a plan. After school care always had a plan. The school. And so we knew if something happened where the pickup point would be. And the kids knew what they were to do. And when we were at church, church has a plan. They still have a plan now, and they tell you, this is what will happen. The kids will be with us. They will not be released until everything is, fine, or we locate everybody, and this is where you are to go to get them. So I never have really paid attention to it, and then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. What do we do now? Since, Paige isn't in school anymore, Madison's in South Dakota, so not much we can do about that. But so we sat together as we were eating dinner, and we set up a plan. And we told Paige, if something happens, this is what you are to do. Now, she already knew that if she was at home by herself, if something were to happen, we have a couple of neighbors that she can go to. One is our next door neighbor, and for the most part, they are home. And then we have another set of neighbors, and they are older. They have grandkids that they go and visit quite often, but they also have one of their sisters lives next door to them. And so we're friends with them too, and they're home most of the time. So if anything happens, they told us just have Paige call us or have Paige come down to our house. And so that's one of the things that we already knew about, but in case of an emergency, we needed to be more definitive on that. And what Paige has to do to get in touch with us if, we're not with her, and if one of us is, with her and the other one's not, then what does that look like? So we did all of that, and she knows, she remembers, and we're going to go over it quite often because you never know. And I wanted to definitely have an emergency plan. So then I started talking to Madison, and I said, if something happens in Georgia, then this is what you need to do. Don't try to come here because, you never know. And so this is people you can get in touch with because we don't really have any family that is close by to us. And so that's kind of our plan. I thought, everybody should have a plan. And I couldn't really believe that we didn't have a plan like we always had. And it's like, okay, this tells me that we cannot rely on our phones. And how much have we really relied on technology? And we have to have that phone with us at all times. And sometimes, it's really nice to disconnect. But then I thought, if you disconnect and you don't check your messages or anything, you turn your phone off, and if something happens, how's somebody going to get in touch with you? So honestly, and when you have older family members, it's really hard to even think about disconnecting for a short time. But I told my husband, I said, it's really sad how we just rely so much on our technology. And then people were actually really upset, voicing their opinions on Facebook later that day when we had gotten service back. And then some of them went on to their computers and they were on Facebook and they were discussing that they couldn't use their phone, and they were going into all these theories and things. And I thought, it's just the fact that something has happened, and technology isn't 100% guaranteed. There's no theory about it. It's just that some people just honestly cannot live without their phone. And I had a couple students freaking out because they couldn't use their phone. And I thought, it just shows us that we're a society now that relies so much on technology. And then that got me thinking of all the different improvements and advancements that have been made since I was little. Because, we didn't have cell phones for a long time till I was basically out of high school. If you wanted to call your friends, you called them on a landline, and you had a long cord that stretched all over your house, or at least I did. And I would make my mom and stepfather so mad because the phone had a really long cord, so I could go all the way down our hall. I could go into my bedroom and I could stretch out on the bed and I could talk on the phone and have my door pretty much shut. So, of course, I got our long cord all tangled up. And then at one point, my parents got so frustrated with not being able to use the phone, not being able for people to call us that wanted to, because we didn't have call waiting for a while either. And then when we did, I would have one friend I was talking to, I had one on hold, and then I'd go back and forth. And then that would aggravate them because then I had both of the lines where no one could click in. I had both of those where that was being used. And so finally my parents got me my own phone number, and I thought I was really something when I had my own phone number. But I guess I was in 10th grade at that point, and by then they're just like, we are sick and tired of the phone cord being so messed up, and then also the fact that we don't ever get to use the phone. And as I got older, it's like, I don't even want to use the phone. But I thought that was kind of funny that then I thought if the internet goes out for a really long period of time, then that causes even more issues, especially with me teaching. I don't really have a plan for that one. It's like if the internet goes out, it just goes out. But that was kind of a weird week. And it was only for a few hours. I mean, I think that by lunchtime, my phone came back on. All was good. But I ended up leaving early that day, too, because I thought, Paige is by herself. She can't get in touch with me. So I left just a couple of hours. And I shouldn't say I'm leaving early because I don't have to stay. But I have specific hours that I have dedicated into my office. And when I am on campus, I keep my door closed. So it's not like I'm there to socialize. We're all there to work. And I kind of do it out of safety too, because you just heard so many things about different people, walking in, schools, and I just keep my door closed. And besides that, I don't want to be working and then all of a sudden someone pops in and starts talking. That would really scare me. Because when I start working, I'm concentrating, and then they come in my doorway and starts talking to me, I think that I would go crazy. Let's see. So that made for an interesting week where we lost power, we lost heat, then we lost phone service. I thought maybe I should just go home and go back to sleep, wake up, maybe all of this will be over. But at least all that didn't happen on the same day, because that would be rather rough. I am really looking forward to spring break. I mean, big time looking forward to spring break. I am going to be doing some diamond painting, and I need to work on my cards some, and I need to work in my craft room. I am going to start working on my older albums, trying to get those in some kind of order, figuring out what I need to do. And that week always goes by fast. It's like I make these grandiose plans and I don't get half done what I would like to. So I'm not really making plans or goals for spring break. I just know that I need to work on a couple of projects. I've gotten a little behind on my cards for soldiers that I like to make. So I've made several backgrounds for cards. So now all I have to do is stamp some sentiments. And I'd like to do that over spring break and get a box sent out for cards for soldiers. And I know that my best friend has some cards that she's going to contribute. So maybe with the ones that she's already given me and the ones that I am going to work on, and then I think she's going to have some more, maybe by doing that, I will have a full box that I can mail for us. I like to do 2 to 3 boxes a year. And towards the end of the year, I get really busy with holidays and different things. I don't do it. And they kind of stop accepting boxes around October. They ask you not to send anymore so they can get caught up. Because it is a lot of work on the cards for soldiers on that end. To get the cards ready for donations and to get them sent out to different bases. I did attend an online seminar on Friday, and hi Carrie. Carrie was, I don't want to say she was with me because it was online, but we were texting as we were listening to this seminar. It is through one of the schools where I work part-time, and she works there as well. And so we have to have one professional development a year. So this sounded really good. We were both looking forward to this one because honestly, most of the professional development seminars that we've gone to in the past, they have been just boring. I mean, I hate to say that, but just absolutely boring. And this one was on AI, on artificial intelligence. Now, I'm not going to say very much about AI. I don't want to get into all of that because that can open up a whole new can of worms. But AI just isn't a concern with artists and with our craft, but AI has become a concern in higher ed. Now, my full-time school and then my other part-time school where I am a lead instructor there, both of those schools do not allow for AI. They don't allow students to use AI for their homework. They do not allow us to use AI to create our classes. And we can actually lose our jobs at my full-time school if we rely on AI to create our own classes. That is something that as subject matter experts, we are expected to do that on our own. And so, I get it. And not a problem. I don't use AI. I like creating my own classroom activities and my own lecture notes. And so I've done it for years, so I think would be more of a learning curve for me than what I am used to. When I was reading the description of this seminar, I thought this sounds really interesting, to where I might, can learn something. I'm interested in hearing what AI, can do in the classroom, and it might be something that might be useful, or at least just to understand a little more. And so I thought, well, this is going to be a nice, Friday. I can just listen and grade papers or whatever that, I need to do, and just listen to this seminar. Well, the more that we got into this, I was texting Carrie and I said, this has absolutely nothing to do with the description of this seminar. This seminar is boring. It doesn't even tell me anything about AI. We have spent 45 minutes in this, and they've not said anything about AI. They're just talking about rubrics, and they're talking about different requirements that we have to have when we are setting up a class. And so I get that part, but I don't understand how this ties into what we're supposed to be covering. Well, then after about an hour or so, then they started tying in AI to what they had said. But they never mentioned how that was tying in. It just all of a sudden did. So I thought, well, okay, this isn't exactly the best way I would have done this, but okay. And then the more that they were talking about it, they made it sound like what they were doing was a person. We're going to have to make sure that we are really good to the program, so the program will eventually be good to us. And I thought, that makes absolutely no sense. So I wasn't really impressed. And then they were telling us, well, just to let everybody know that you can even use AI to create your titles and your headings for your classroom lectures. And that's what we did for this seminar. And I thought, okay, well, whoever did this, you didn't go back and look at it because when you were done, because the description was in my opinion, it was a fail, because it had nothing to do with what we had covered. It was more like clickbait, where you're really excited about it and you go and you watch a video, and then you're just watching that video just to get watch hours for the person that created it. And so I think that is wrong. But that's just my opinion. And then I told my boss, I'm like, okay, I went to this seminar, and so I was going to get credit. And so she was asking me all about it. And so I was telling her, and she said, I don't think we'll ever do that, here. She said, they're probably going to let us, if we want to eventually look at some homework and, look at some different resources that AI can offer. But to me, it's like, as an instructor and as a researcher, because I have my doctorate, I like to research. I want to do my own research. I want to look through and have my own keywords, and I can see where AI could help in that instance, where it could say, here's some really good resources. But as for AI creating our own homework, I don't really have a problem with that, as long as it can be tweaked. But they were even showing how AI can grade papers for you, and then the feedback is directly from AI. It's not going to be personable. It is not going to include different examples, which is what I like to do with my feedback. So then I thought, well, how impersonable is that if you're using AI to grade your papers, to put comments on a rubric? Then what's the need of an instructor? So anyway, that was kind of my rant for the week. And normally after a seminar, I just kind of drop it, forget about it. But this one has really been on my mind all week. So I wanted to talk with somebody about it that, really was an expert that knew about, different types and methods of AI and how that's going to affect us. And so my boss she's really good about keeping up with, new technologies, new innovations. And so she was telling me some of the seminars that she has taken. And as instructors now, we have to be really careful. We cannot say, even though we are pretty confident that a student had used AI, because there's not any way yet to detect plagiarism, and technically students using AI, they're not plagiarizing because it is new material. We cannot say that they have plagiarized. There have actually been some cases, and one has gone to the Supreme Court on AI and accusing a student of plagiarizing. It's not any of the schools that I am affiliated with, and so I'm kind of following that to see what's going to happen. But that was my Friday, and then after a while I thought, okay, I just cannot sit here and just watch these people. I'm going to have to do something else because it was really starting to bother me. And I knew that if I kept on watching it, I would get extremely irritated. So I did start grading some papers that I don't have to think about. I could just listen in the background. But I thought, AI is something that, a lot of people are trying to avoid the actual, comments and discussions on AI. But I think it's here. It is here. It's going to stay. And hopefully there will be some type of legislation that's going to come out on AI, and especially on education, because, if students are relying on AI so much, when they go to work, they're not going to have AI right with them and tell them exactly what they need to do, especially in accounting. I don't think that you're going to be able to have AI to tell you, this is what you need to do for this particular situation, and maybe you will. But I just hope that my job as a teacher eventually isn't eliminated because of AI. I really honestly don't see that, because you're going to have someone to teach the material. But as far as having a teacher that is an instructional designer, or having an instructional designer, maybe they're going to be relying heavily on AI to design classrooms. So I'm definitely going to keep that in my task list that I keep up, that I like to look at and research from time to time to see what all is happening. But I thought that was just really interesting, and especially a way to spend half my Friday is to listen to something that I wasn't really sure about. So that's all I'm going to say about AI. I don't want to get into any complications or upset anybody or anything. So I'm not saying anything bad about AI. I am just really curious to see how it's going to play out, especially in higher education. It seems like that it is more so in lower levels, like maybe, I think they said even starting at kindergarten and going into up to 12th grade, that there are some schools now that are relying heavily on AI, and the state of Arkansas was one of them. I am from Arkansas, so I am going to talk to a friend of mine who is a principal at an Arkansas school, and I want to discuss this with her. So I definitely have that I'm going to do in the next month or so. We're going to meet up. She is coming to Atlanta, and we're going to meet up, and we're going to have coffee. I think we're going to have dinner one night. And so I want to just bring this up with her, and I want to get her take on this. And she already knows that I asked her, and she said that she would be happy to. So that's something. I think she's either going to come in March or April. I'm hoping that she doesn't come till April, because I have a lot going on in March. As far as diamond painting goes, I will complete this one before Thursday, no doubt, because this doesn't take very long. It's taken me longer for this WIP and chat, but I will get this completed by the end of the day on Thursday, the last day of February, which is hard to believe. That's kind of cool. It's the 29th, but still, with one extra day in February, it feels like it's gone by super, super quick. So this will be done. I have my Paint Gem Minis, the Butterfly Edition. That one's done. So I can count that one as a finish. I also have another Diamond Art Club that I did. It took me about 5 days to do. It's really cute. That one is a finish. So I have 3 finishes for February, which is really good for me. Very unusual. And then I am working on my WIP from Calming Canvas Designs. That is one that I opened with you guys, and that one was the, or I should say is the Collie, the stained glass. That one's taking a while. Even though it's really small, it's a lot of colors and a lot of color changes, so I decided to make my sections larger so I don't have to change out the colors as much, and so that is going faster, but I just started on it. I did a small section last month just to see what it was going to look like, and then kind of put it up. I hadn't done anything else with it, but I started working on that a couple of nights ago. And so that one will not be finished by the end of the month, but I'm going to continue working on that one in March. And then I want to get out 2 of my WIPs, my work in progress. I have about 11, I think. And I want to get those. That's the year. This is going to be the year of completing the WIPs for me. And I am going to get Diamond Painting Shop out, and that is the moon that I started working on for Summer with the Masters last year in June. And I have a small section to go, so I'm going to work on that in March, get that one knocked out first, and then after that one I'm going to go back to my Diamond Painting Deutschland and see if I can get that one knocked out. And I'm going to spend a good amount of time on my cross-stitch conversion into a diamond painting. I want to spend quite a bit of time in March on that one, see how far I can get. So I don't know how many completions that I will get in March. I should be able to get the Diamond Painting Shop completion. Get that one out, and then I can also count that as part of my goals because one of my goals is to see how many WIPs that I have that I can complete. So that will be super duper nice to get that one out. And I've had it working on that one for a really long time. It's really pretty. I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of blue. So I did have to take a break, and then once I took a break, I never got back to it. And for those of you that have completed your paint gems, make sure that you do get your 2 completions in if you want to be part of the grand prize. And I want to thank all of our sponsors for that event. I am going to include that on my Thursday video. And so for videos for this week, you can expect a sneak peek that I'm hoping will go out on Wednesday. I am waiting on my shipment. Should come in sometime today, or tomorrow. So I'm hoping to have that one out on Wednesday. On Thursday, I will have my completion of my mini paint gem butterflies along with a kitting down, and I am going to frame those with you guys. So that's going to be on Thursday. And then on Saturday, I do have my plan for my massive cross stitch Saturday. That one will be scheduled for Saturday, and then we'll start back with next week. Next Monday, I am going to have my month in review to show you the completions, and the only WIP that I worked on that I have not completed for March is the moon, so I'll show you that one, and also my cross stitch conversion. I'll show you that as well. So quite a bit going on for the week. I don't have anything that is out of the ordinary for me this week that I know of, except for a quick meeting on Friday. But other than that, for this week, it sounds like it's going to be a quiet week. I'm really hoping to get more of my classroom completion done, my setup for the summer, because we start right after the end of the spring semester. So in May, I'm going to be heading right into the summer classes. So that's going to keep me rather busy. Summer always goes by so fast because of the number of classes that I have to teach, as well as it going by as faster than regular semesters, and you have to get the same amount of content in. So that does tend to make it a very fast 8 weeks of summer. And then with March, I have so much going on in March. I hope that I can do a couple of videos in advance. You'll have something to watch with me going out of town so much. It may impact my Saturday WIP and Chat for 1 week, 1 weekend. I'm not sure yet, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm coming up to 2,300 subscribers. I have about 30 more to go to get there, so that's an exciting milestone. I'm also coming up on my 2-year anniversary for my channel, which is really hard to believe. I didn't think I would make it this far. So glad I did. That's a regular diamond there. So glad that I did, and I'm enjoying meeting all you guys. I have really enjoyed making content. My first videos were absolutely horrible, so I appreciate all of you that have stuck with me, even as bad as my videos were. I am going to call this the end of the WIP and Chat today. I've gotten quite a bit done, especially right up through here on this rose. And so all I have is this little section here, and then what I have over here that my cover minder has pulled back, so you can't really see that, but it's very, very small sections. And I am just loving this one. I haven't seen this one completed yet on Bella Art Diamonds on their Facebook site. So I am just loving this, and it looks so much better in person than it does on video, and it is stunning on video. So can't wait to see this completed and get it framed and see what that's going to look like. Haven't decided on the type of frame that I'm going to use for this either, but I'll eventually get there. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I do have some completions coming up, especially on this one. So if you would like to be informed of any future uploads, click on that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And that way you will see all of my future videos as soon as they are uploaded. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, happy diamond painting. Bye!